welcome to the Money Energy webinar in coaching. This is a series that Hugh's been running since really the last quarter of 2022, right after we delivered the white paper, the Money Energy white paper. So we've had a lot of interest in it. We've been doing a number of beta tests. We're pretty excited about it. So I'm Leon Morales. I'm the president of DNABehavior, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this webinar. And just to level set here, one of the things that here at DNABehavior, we consider ourselves business coaches as well, but we work with a lot of coaches. For the last 22 years, Hugh and I both have worked with different coaches. And what makes a great coach is a combination of really good communication skills, your ability to sort of be positive, help your clients through some very big changes that are going on in their life. You really see the whole picture. And in business coaching, there's one element that probably you haven't been able to tap into, and we're pretty excited about what we're going to introduce today, and that is your relationship to money and how to build that money energy sort of attitude around it. So you can really help your clients through a lot of change, because if there's one thing that your clients do depend on you to do is help them think differently, maybe ask one good question every year that really sort of helps them through this behavioral change. So with money energy, it's not just a concept, it's an actual science. And those of you that have read the white paper sort of know a little bit about it, but I think we'll be able to do a deeper dive today, really understand the methodology of how to actually use this in coaching. And with that, I just want to note that there is a Q&A box there, and a number of people do enter questions in there. It'll get answered in real time. More than likely, but if it's something that really would like to share with the rest of the group, we'll do that at the end of the webinar, that Hugh will take questions. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Hugh Massey, our chairman at DNABehavior. Thank you, Hugh.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's great to be with all of you. And I'd just like to start with something positive, because that's a good thing for a coach to do, and for all of us to get our mindset and our hearts in the right place. And before Christmas, I had the great fortune to go back to my hometown of Sydney, where I hadn't been for 3.5 years because of COVID. So it was great to go there. And one of the things that's different about me, particularly for the American people on the call, is, in being Australian, I'm very passionate about cricket. But cricket is something that is very deep in the veins of my family and our family history. My great-grandfather played in the first Ashes game between Australia and England. So he played for Australia over there in England in 1882, all those years ago, and actually scored the highest score, got the most runs in the match, and put on a match-winning performance. And through all that time thereafter, our family had retained the cricket bats that he used in that match. And you can see me there in the slide, in the photograph, standing on the Sydney cricket ground with my 92-year-old mother, and we're each holding a bat. So these bats have been passed down to me and my brother, who are the direct heirs of our great-grandfather. And there's a lot of other memorabilia that we also had retained through the generations, and it's really got to a decision as to what do we do with all of this, and really who owns it. In a technical sense, my brother and I own it, or owned it, but do we really? And where should all this go? And we made a decision, rather than splitting it up between the two of us or trying to sell it. And as it's been well noted, this is these are priceless items. And what we decided to do was to donate these bats and all the memorabilia to the Sydney Cricket Ground Museum late last year. And there was a big ceremony for that in January this year, which my brother could go to. I couldn't because I was back in Atlanta, but I at least got to go on the Sydney cricket ground, where my great-grandfather did play in the first game there as well against England. So, very exciting times. But, what this really brings up in many ways, this story is, what is our identity and what is important as a family? And we needed to honor our cricket history by making this donation. And where are our hearts? Again, that's sort of digging into really who owns this. And importantly, what's our relationship to money? Because these items may have been able to be sold for a great amount of money, but what's that all worth at the end of the day? And I think this all circles back around to our identity. So I just wanted to share that story because these perspectives are important in how we act and operate and deal with money, address our identity, are fundamental to coaching. And so I'm going to talk a lot today about money energy and its impact on our lives and how we think around money. And money is not just a currency. Money is about our mindset, but it is there through everything. And just to go back a little step around, my background, I actually started life as an accountant, and probably a very rational one, always dealing with numbers, and in a way that was a safety place for me. But through that experience of being an accountant, I could see people making all sorts of decisions in their lives, and there were patterns of those decisions, whether the decision was made in business, in their family, in their community, in whatever area it was, or just financially with their investments, there were patterns that repeated themselves. And I had the wake-up call that this really was about behavior, and I wanted to understand it. And while I had started my career as an accountant in Australia, I left that after about 10 years and set up a wealth management business. And then I started to see all of this again firsthand, because I was helping people with their money and with their lives. But under pressure, what I saw was people flipping back to a hardwired behavior. And this is what I could see being reflected in their behavioral patterns. And so I wanted to not only just understand this, I wanted to be able to measure it. And that's what led me to starting the DNABehavior business in 2001 from Sydney, Australia, from inside actually having a wealth management business. But we're a little more than a wealth management business, because we did do coaching and we did family services, facilitations. There's a whole range of things going on. But what I realized was that when you're dealing with money, we weren't just dealing with it as a currency or for investments or doing deals. We were dealing with people's mindsets. And so therefore, money needed to be understood, and people's relationship to money needed to be understood. And that had to start with me as well. I had to do work on this myself. And, through that time, I've been heavily coached and guided, because I would say to everybody that's a coach or a financial advisor or a consultant guiding others, you can't take a person on a journey where you haven't been yourself. And so, that's something that's important. And how we deal with money, we must understand it for ourselves. But for all of you as coaches, and I know a few of you on the call today are financial advisors as well, and you may well be doing, in effect, some coaching through the advisory process. Money is always there. And if I share this as a story, and you think about a CEO whose name is Jenny, and she is what we would call an influencer, reasonably big in the room, leader, very outgoing, forthright with her opinions, quick to make decisions, emotionally connective. She likes a good lifestyle as well. And she's leading her company, but, you know, going into 2022 and 3, she's stressed about the company budgets because she can see the headwinds of the economy coming, and her remuneration is tied in part to the revenues of the company and in part to company culture. But she could see some of her, was feeling the pressure of some of her remuneration and obviously the company performance tied to it at stake because of the economic headwinds and what sales are going to get made. And it's put her under a lot of pressure. And Jenny goes to visit the doctor, and lo and behold, 48-year-old woman has got hypertension. Her blood pressure has gone up. The metrics aren't looking particularly good. And the doctor says, well, I better prescribe you blood pressure medications. So Jenny's got to take those blood pressure medications. But is that really actually the source of the problem for her? It's sort of a band-aid for the solution. And the source of the problem is Jenny's behavior around money. And as the coach, if you can start to ask questions of Jenny, well, why are you really stressed? It's not just the company budget and the sales. Yes, that's part of it. When the questions get asked, what actually emerges out is she's got very high personal debt and a very big mortgage. And that is at the core of the problem because her life is being threatened. And that's really what's causing the stress. Not, of course, her job's on the line, the company performance is on the line. But what I'm really getting to here is getting the full picture of what the problem is as a coach is important. And the reality is money is always there in whatever decisions are being made by an individual. Their relationship to money is at stake somewhere in those in that decision making and what they're feeling. And I believe it's incumbent on us as coaches to understand that, to recognize that money is omnipresent through our lives. It's there in every aspect of our lives. And again, as I've said already, it's not just a currency, it's about your mindset. It's about the energy of money. I used to use the expression a lot when I was younger and a little bit more, maybe less evolved. I joked that money never sleeps. And that was really intended to sort of make the statement that if you save money and put it in the bank and invest it, you can earn income and grow your wealth on a 24/7 basis. But there's actually a deeper side to that. And it's about your subconscious mind. And the fact is money is at work in your mind, in the deep subconscious of your mind on a 24/7 basis. It is at work when you are asleep. And do you go to bed at night thinking positively about money? And I'm not talking about just having a love of money, but having a positive thoughts about money and your relationship to it, or do you go with negative thoughts to bed about money? And maybe if you go to bed with negative thoughts about money, that's what's going to come into your life, whether it's the next day or later on, because you're going to manifest that. So getting a good relationship with money is important. Understanding, even if you don't think you are stressed by money, maybe you are, because it's in your deeper mindset. There's something hidden away there. And this is our work as coaches to elicit this out of our clients. This isn't just a conversation for the financial advisor, because money isn't just about money as a currency. It is about your mindset. And money is at play in everything. Just as much as your health is at play, your nutrition, everything, and your mindset is at play. All of your energy sources have to be integrated, and money is an energy source. And the thing I will say to everybody, and I've been making a big point about this in recent times, is that financial stress kills. And everybody out there in the world you know, or a lot of people out there in the world are feeling stressed by money at some point of time. And this is the research for America, but I've looked around at this research on a worldwide basis, and it is there in every other country, whether the country is wealthy or poor. And I think we've got to take this head on in our coaching and be more direct in our conversations about what the money issues potentially are. Even as a coach, if you don't feel fully equipped to go the whole way on the money conversation, maybe that is the time to bring a financial advisor in. But again, money is mindset, and that's really the big point. And money has a major, you know, happiness implication and health implication. You know, this morning I was reading a posting in LinkedIn about having it all. We all, in some ways, want to have it all, but what does that really mean? And is having it all going to mean that, in fact, we're happy? Is it going to mean we're healthy? Chasing that could well make us very unhappy and unhealthy. And even if we somewhat get there, because no one really ever gets there on having it all, what's the point if you aren't healthy and if you're not happy, if your relationships are ruined? You know, they're perspectives to think about. And you know, what I'm really encouraging all of us to be doing in our coaching practices is to help our clients. Doesn't matter what the setting we're dealing with, whether it's leaders, career coaching, life coaching, any other type of coaching, is to help our clients get to a level of integration with themselves and their family units, their businesses. And to have the right perspective about money in it. And certainly, if you see your clients blocked in terms of their decisions, to be asking more questions. If they're agreeing, yeah, I'll go and do something, and then they don't, if they're hesitating, start to probe in why. And I think you will find in many cases, money is there. It's a blockage for people. But importantly, it can't be a blockage for you as the coach. And I'll encourage all of you to be continuously working on your own relationship to money, because the more that you do, the easier you'll find this in dealing with your clients, and the further you'll be able to go with your clients. And that's a lot of what I am encouraging here with our money energy work. So there's no point just talking about the concept of money energy. Is it an energy that's there? Absolutely it is. Can it be measured? We believe it can. And that's what we've done a lot of work on, and putting a measurement formula in place, because if you can measure something, then you can start to work on improving it, certainly maintaining it, and you might start to see where you need to make those improvements. So what do we call, or how do we define money energy? So, you know, here is the definition. Money energy is also, I just want to be clear, it's a power and a capacity. It's really your potential. And it's a stored energy. We've all got a level of money energy within us. We are born with a level of it. And then through our conscious decision making, we can boost it and we can deplete it. And just like a battery gets charged, the money energy goes up and down. But the money energy is not about necessarily how much you have or that you are going to have. But it is about a infinite potential in the context of your own life. And so what we're trying to help everybody do is to boost their money energy along with their other personal life energies, being food, mindset, and overall health, to keep an integration level there across all the energy sources, but to recognize that money is feeding the other energy sources as well. So we at DNABehavior address money energy through a behavioral lens. We're all unique beings who have a starting level of money energy, and 95% of our starting level of money energy is set by the time we are 7 years old, based on our hardwired style. So by the time you are 7 years old, your hardwiring is set based on your genetics, but mainly the life experiences that you've had up to 7 years old. There's not a lot that you can do about your hardwired behavior. It is what it is. But it is going to drive a lot of your life unless you learn how to, firstly, you learn what your hardwiring is and how you make decisions. And that's back to the patterns I talked about before. And then it's about the conscious decision-making that you bring into your life. And that's also going to involve hard work. It's where the coach can step in to help you potentially adapt and grow your money energy, certainly maintain it. And again, this is where the decision-making comes in. Through that greater level of awareness, you can build your money energy and set yourself up for life. So the key here is to firstly understand how you're hardwired. And that's always been the framework at DNABehavior. And then secondly is, what conscious decisions are you going to make to work with that hardwiring or to adapt it where necessary to make life improvements? So thinking about your money energy, what are the strongest elements that might affect it? Now, number one at the top, saving. Saving money is really crucial. Having a budget, a spending plan, putting your life into having positive cash flows, not having to worry about credit card debt or a mortgage that's very stressful to repay. So you want to have savings, because that creates flexibility in your life. And one of the greatest causes of stress out there is people not feeling in control around money and not seeing a clear future. Having savings helps with that. So debt management, savings management is really important. Your career earning power. How do you use your talents? Are you working in a role that's a fit for your talents? Are you passionate about that role? Because I always believe that if you can work in a role that allows you to work in your talents and your passions together, then you can grow and you will also be happy. Are you capable of taking risks? Life is full of risks, and at some point you've got to take risks with something to grow. The learned financial behavior is about the conscious discipline, which was what I was alluding to just a moment ago. This is where you need to think about how you're going to adapt that hardwired behavior, but also, are you going to be a victim of your life experiences? And that's something that is important to address and to, again, change your mindset in those areas. And then there's your relationship with money. What does money really mean to you? How are you going to treat money in a way as your friend? How are you going to talk about money? What's the positive mindset you're going to have with money? And this is really getting back to having your authentic identity uncovered. Who are you and how are you going to stand out there in the world? How do you want to be seen by others? Who's the person you're going to be accountable to in the sense of yourself? That governs a lot of decision-making and will govern a lot of what you do with your money. And that's where the having it all conversation starts to reside. Something I've learned a lot about over the last 12 months is the power of your heart. And your heart intelligence is very important here. If you have a good heart, that can change the course of many things. And what's important to realize is that the magnetic forces around your heart are 60 times the power of your mind. And the fact is your heart sends more signals to your mind than your mind sends down to your heart. So thinking about your heart intelligence is important. And I would encourage everybody to go to the heartmath.org website and have a look at their work around this. Having financial flexibility is important because if you have financial flexibility, you can take opportunities when they arise. Building relationships, building your network. And without your health, you have nothing. There would be other elements, including your sleep, that are really important here as well. And that's really wrapped up to me in health, but it is in a way its own identifiable item as well. But what I would land the plane on is the strongest element comes down to, for building money energy, does come back to your relationship with money. This must be healthy. And if this is right, everything else flows in your life. Your purpose, the meaning is all reflected in here, and getting the right relationship to money is important. And I truly believe that as coaches, if you get your own relationship with money right, you can guide your clients. This is an important first step. But secondly, then being able to, as you help your clients make decisions with context back to their relationship with money. And this will, at the end of the day, leave them far less stressed. And that's what we want. It's not necessarily about making the most money. It's about it being fully integrated to you and to your clients. Now, at DNA Behavior, our work hasn't come from nothing. We have done a lot of scientific validation work over the last 22 years. And the initial part of our work focused on really one strand of the DNA helix, which is the behavioral strand. But as you understand more about the DNA helix, you will see that there are actually two strands. And the second strand is a mirror of the first strand. They travel together. So in our context, there is a behavior strand and there is an energy strand. So if you think about it in this context, if a person has a talent or a behavior towards being outgoing, they will have an energy for people. If they have a behavior for being planned and structured, in a financial sense, they'll have an energy towards saving. If they have a behavior for risk-taking, they will have an energy towards getting into new ventures. They'll be venturesome. The two travel together. And we have measured at DNA Behavior, scientifically measured through extensive validation work at 2 universities here in Atlanta, 4,000 behavior and money insights, which explain how people function. Now, if you decide to work with us, we don't provide you, we make available all the 4,000 behavioral insights, but you won't see all of those out the gate because that's too much to deal with and to think about. But what it does bring us back to is that the research that we have and the insights that we've measured are extensive. And we do this with a very high degree of accuracy. So 97.1% reliability is based on our validation, is what is the standard that we measure to. And you can get these insights through taking our discovery process in just 10 minutes. Now, what's important for me to convey here is that as the coach, and some of you, if not all of you, have used discovery systems in some way, behavioral discovery systems in some way in the past, or somewhere, you know, you've either experienced it for yourself or you've used something with clients. Most of the discovery tools out there, systems out there, address your talents. They are focused on the behavior side, and we measure all of those as well. And you can see them here. So this is just a snapshot of what we measure, because as I said, we have 4,000 insights, so we go a lot deeper than this. But we identify everybody in 10 categories. And depending on how strong you are in a category and the particular behavior factors and sub-factors that sit underneath your particular style, and remember there's 4 trillion combinations, you will have behaviors or talents in a certain direction. So if you're an initiator like me, these will be some of your talents. If you are more of a relationship builder, which is opposite to me, then these will be some of your talents. And this will be workplace driven. It will also be a factor in your decision making. But side by side with the talents, we measure money insights, money behaviors. So for each of you, if you try out the system, but also for each of your clients, you will always get from us the behavior insights and the money insights. So again, you know, what I'm emphasizing here is as you take your clients through your coaching interactions, conversations, helping clients make decisions, whatever it might be, you not only need to address their behavior, which helps with uncovering their identity, their talents, and what they're great at in the workplace, how they might operate at home, how they think and act and feel about money is laid out here. And these are the insights that we provide measurements on. And when you go into our system, you're going to see all of this come up. And you know, the importance of this is it gives you a framework to ask questions. You're going to know where your client is at in some of these areas. Are they aligned? Is the decision they are making aligned to who they are? Is it aligned to their comfort levels? If, for example, if you are a relationship builder and you need to make a very high risk decision that's going to have a lot of consequences financially and potentially in relation to people and relationships, are you going to be comfortable making that decision? Maybe not when you look at this. They're going to need a lot more help along in seeing where the security blanket may be in that decision. A high-risk decision is going to cause this person consternation. For this person, the initiator of making a high-risk decision is not such a big deal because that's the way they are wired up. But at the same time, they need to think about the consequences of the decisions they make on their relationships. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about getting a result. They may be growth-orientated and have a goal drive and a financial drive, but it's the decision going over the line and actually destroying the conservation side. Are they blowing up wealth or blowing up the company balance sheet? in some way through the decision. So all of these insights need to be understood if we're going to provide coaching in a holistic way. Now, what we do at DNA, going a step further, is we actually measure the money energy. And this gets to what each person's relationship to money is. So we look at your natural financial behaviors. There's some specific behaviors in there around saving, risk-taking, goal setting. If they're high, your natural financial behavior capability will be high. How then have you adapted your behavior to live a quality life? This gets measured as well. And because what we're talking about here is, how do you bring the great force of money into play into your life? How do you release it into all areas of your life positively? Because if you can do that, then you open up opportunities. You will have greater financial flexibility. And we have 13 measurements on that. And if you've built your human capital up, you've effectively invested in yourself, your relationship networks, your health, your human capital will be high. This enables you to capitalize on opportunities when they come. Because a lot of my thinking in life is about living in the quantum world versus the linear world. If you want to make quantum leaps in life and help your clients make quantum leaps in your life, you have to be able to take advantage of opportunities when they come. And so this is really where the exponential impact is. So if your scores are high in here, this means that you set yourself up to capitalize on opportunities, and that's where the exponential growth is. And we've used Einstein's energy formula here with this to put an exponential score on the opportunities. But these opportunities will not be high if you have not got to the foundational place of having a strong money relationship integration for your life. So if this score is low, the score in here will invariably be low. And we've proven this now with a lot of cases. So you have to do the work on yourself and know how money fits in your life and be deploying money across your life the right way for the opportunities here to increase. And that's then what expands out your money energy potential. Now, a big thing we've talked about today a lot around is stress. And, the other side of that is, how do you have happiness, success, and your health? And this is part of building that money relationship integration, because, one of the dials I just had in the last slide was your quality life performance. You have to have, if you have a strong quality life, there will be less stress, you will be happier, successful, and healthy. And so what this tool identifies is the areas in your life that might be holding you back in terms of a quality life, but might also be causing you stress. And so you can see, each measurement here is out of 7. And you can see that Sarah Autumn here, just as our case study, she has rated her life lower in a couple of areas, being health and recreation and relationships. So a coaching point would be how to develop her in these areas. And what we do is we provide you with the scoring on how she's rated herself, which are all questions then you can talk to her about. You talk to her about the strengths in her life, and you talk to her about the struggles. Every person has them. The idea would be, at the end of the day, if you're getting a perfect score on this, is that the self-assessment here would be 7, and you would have zeros here. There wouldn't be any development opportunity, but that's not realistic for most of us. But we can build these scores up to at least an average of 6s, and that would reflect a pretty integrated life. A person who's very happy, successful in the context of their life, and healthy. So how do we amplify the money energy in your life? How do we change your mindset? Because all of this is a mindset game. And I know as coaches, we use the terminology a lot, get out of your own way. Unlock those barriers. That's what we're talking about here. And money is one of those barriers. But if you can get money positioned in the right place in your life with the right relationship to it, your life can flow. And this is, why I've been emphasizing a lot today about your life equilibrium. If you can get that equilibrium between money and your personal life energy fields, then you can start to make quantum leaps in your life. You're going to position yourself. But the starting place to get this fundamentally right is your identity. And I've already alluded to what it is, but just to restate it, your identity is how you want to be seen in the world. How are you going to stand up out there in the world, be seen, and be accountable? That's what drives a lot of your decisions. Your identity comes from your purpose, from knowing your passions, from knowing your values. But the identity is also how the world is going to see you. And that's very important. And you really want to get to not an identity that's based on a state of doing, but on a state of being. And certainly the identity is not on a state of having either. It's in terms of material things. It's about your state of being. And when you get to that place, you can then start to make a whole set of decisions that are much more around, what are essential for you to live that then lead to your happiness, success, and stress, and health. I've already, mentioned your heart and understanding how you feel about money and the decisions you make internally. And it's, this is very, very important to understand. It's not just your intuition, which is an important part of this, but it's to recognize in your body how you feel about the decision and where's that coming from. And as I've alluded to, this starts at the heart. But in fact, if any of you have done work on the 7 chakras, starting, at the baseline there, from your waist upwards through to right up the top here, you'll understand that you need to clear all of the energy in your body. If you're going to live this life without stress and have that happiness and success, and if you can learn to feed your heart the right way, then this can flow to your brain, and then the right aligned decisions are going to get made. So that, this is making decisions from the inside out. And one of the things that I started doing over the last few years is to measure my heart rate variability. And this started out really from wearing a Whoop band for sports reasons. But as I got to understand it better, it was also an indicator of my stress, because I could start to look at my sleep performance, how stressed I am at points of the day. And the greater the variation of your heart, in the heartbeats, the less stress you'll be. So, this is something that can be an important signal, because if you can see the stress levels you're under all the time and start to figure out what's causing that, you can do something about it. And something I've been encouraging coaches and financial advisors to do is to get their clients to monitor their stress levels, what their heart rate variability is. And if they're going through a phase of having to make some big decisions, life transitions, maybe to see what the heart rate variability is, because if it's very low, that will indicate high stress. Then that's a signal something's going on. And I could bet that money is there somewhere in that. And I'll bring this back to DNA behavior. In our reporting, we measure a lot about whether a person is results orientated or relationship orientated. The relationship orientated people tend to be more heart focused, and the results people tend to be a lot more in their head. They're mind focused. At the end of the day, they've got to be integrated. And if you're going to make quantum leaps in your life, that's becomes very important. You can't just make rational decisions without any consequence to your relationships or to your heart. That's when big problems will come. But if you just make heartfelt decisions without any boundary of rationality, that might be a problem too. So what we bring out is your balance of results and relationships and how you might need to adapt in your decision making. Now, I've laid a lot of framework here in terms of what we measure, why it's important, what some of the indicators of your money energy are, how it reflects out through stress. But what's important is to be able to have conversations about money. And this is sometimes when there is the elephant in the room. We know the topic is there, but no one wants to talk about it, whether that's between husband and wives, within family units, between business partners, within teams, amongst leaders, amongst coaches and their clients, and even financial advisors and their clients. Even for the financial advisors listening today, it's very easy to talk about the money in terms of the currency of it, what investments we're going to make. But are we talking about people's relationship to money? What's important about money? What are the fundamental decisions that need to get made, and why? And how money fits in there? How is money triggering emotions? Money brings up baggage for everybody. It in part brings up their childhood. It brings up past decision making. It can bring up shame. It can also bring up joy. But we have to be able to talk about money. And that all starts with each of us learning how to talk about money and have positive conversations about it. And we've found that the best way of talking about money, in a way, is not to talk about money as such. Because as soon as you ask, okay, what's important about money to you, if that's the first question, it will bring up all sorts of emotions. And the truth will get clouded. We would rather start the conversation about money with your identity and your life purpose. So in a way, in the first step, keep the conversation away from money itself and get to the heart of the person, the heart of yourself, in terms of your identity and life purpose. Then once that is clarified, we take people through a painted picture exercise and get them to draw a picture of what their future life is and how they see it. And I did this for myself 20 or so years ago, and I could see myself living in America, and at the time I wasn't. I could see the type of house I wanted to live in, the family, the dogs, the trips, the business, all of the components were drawn out in the diagram. And I've visualized that, and I've lived to that. And once you get that set, then you can start to talk about the role of money. And out of that comes what it means and what your relationship to money will be. But it is identity driven. An important part that we deal with at DNA Behavior in the context of all of this, and this is part of the thought leadership work we do as well, is the conversation about longevity. Because longevity is a big conversation these days about health, and I've put myself in the 120 club, where I'm going to take all the steps that I need to take to live to 120 years old. So I've got very health focused, but you also have to have the money to live that long, and you have to have a quality life in between. There's no point living a long life if there's no quality in there. And so, a lot of our conversation when we talk about money, we talk about personal energy sources, we talk about coaching, is we do bring in the longevity conversation. And again, this comes back to how you maintain the 4 chambers of the personal life energy sources. And again, you can see money in there interacting with your mind, your body, and your food. It's interesting. If you just think about the last time that you were stressed, did you eat a whole lot of foods with carbohydrate and sugar? Did you drink more alcohol? What did that do to you? Did you feel like exercising? What did it do to your mindset? And then, your mindset goes down, and then you want to do all of that again. And so just getting a grip on all of this is important, and looking at, how money fits into the overall context of your life is important. So moving to the future, what is DNA behavior bringing to you? We're not just bringing to you a set of tools. That's important, and I'm going to show you our, just sort of a quick snapshot of our system that we've just relaunched recently. But we are a community of people who are all thought leaders in the area of behavior. While I've got at DNABehavior, our team of 60 people that support our work and executive leaders, our business is much bigger than that, because we have got a very wide and deep community of people that regularly come together, are sharing ideas. We're working for the same things. We want to see people have a better life, have happiness, success and health, less stress, and have a higher level of money consciousness in everything we do. Work together, as a team on that, with the right heart. But if you want to access our systems, and Leon will help with this as well to guide you to the right spot off our website, and I'll give you the link in a minute. But if you complete the 10-minute discovery, you'll start to see the insights presented in a dashboard framework. Very simply, as I mentioned, there's 4,000 of them, but you start with 5 and you get buy into that. And then we start to show you more, and you can customize this information that we have in any way you want, pair it up against other people, teams, run all that analysis, look at, are you matched up to somebody else? How does that, person work with you? Risk scores. If we've got shuffle cards where you can customize the screen experience to have whatever you want to deliver to your client at any particular moment. And you might want to give your client, various experiences in the one sitting, particularly, and I want to emphasize here, you can show them the behavioral insights, and then you can show them the money insights. You can show how all this falls out as a team, comparing people, how people are going to react with our market tool, mood tool, how are they going to react under pressure with the stock market, for example. So to learn more, and I'm going to open this up to a few questions. You can read our money energy white paper and download it here off the website. If you want to, if you're not already using our system and you want to have a free trial of it, you can go to this page here, and we'll put all this in writing to you afterwards. And you can try it out for free for a month, and you can get all the experiences that you want, see yourself with a few other people, and how this stacks up. And I really encourage this, even if you're already using another system, think about using us for at least the money insights as a big add-on to what you're already bringing to your business. We do training as well, so we can teach you how to have those money conversations, what all the insights mean. We've got extensive resources. This is all customizable, so you can feel like this is your service that you're bringing to your clients with your branding on it, and as I said, the insights that you want to have. We do a regular blog once a week that unpacks the money energy insights, and you can see that in the 40 quantum laws that we roll out there in our blogs, and then we have subscriptions if you wish to go past 30 days trial period, so that you can use our system on an unlimited basis with a subscription model. So Leon, we might, we've got, 6-7 minutes left, I think, to take a few questions.
Yeah, Hugh, one of the questions came up, ties to identity and just learning the ability to have those types of conversations with clients. Do you have any recommendations on how someone would actually do that?
Well, there's a great book out there called The Power of Identity by Bill Wuersma. Has got quite a lot of good steps in there, but we then bake in with that the doing the DNA discovery because that unfolds not only your talents but your passions, the values, your life purpose that become the foundation of that. So a lot of our training that we do, if you go into the package and you want to have the training, we teach you how to, with a framework, how to uncover that identity and to get to your place of being rather than doing.
Very good. Thank you, Hugh, for that. Content's been great. Little, probably a lot to absorb for a lot of folks. I got that feedback. And I think probably the only other question was, does this apply for financial advisors or is this really for just business coaches? And there was a little bit of confusion on, with that. Should a financial advisor use this as well and a business coach with their clients?
So the answer is both use it with their clients. And, traditionally our business has been a little bit segmented where the money insights have been offered to the financial advisors to use with their clients as part of the discovery conversation. So, we've got a lot of financial advisors out there that use our systems as part of the discovery process to understand how to build a financial plan with their clients, which is very often a financial and investment focused plan. And we've trained those advisors on how to discuss money and have the money conversation. But really, at the end of the day, we see that this conversation of having a money conversation, or be able to discuss money, is equally important to advisors, to coaches. So the discussion around money and money energy is not just for a financial advisor. It is for every coach and consultant working with any person, helping them to improve their life, make better decisions, become a better leader, sell a business, buy a business, whatever it is. The client's relationship to money is involved there. And if you're going to coach them to making the best decision, understanding how they deal with money is important. And that's why we've done a lot of work in our system here to ensure that as a coach, you can have the behavior and money insights as well. As a coach, you don't have to turn this into an investment conversation in terms of building a portfolio with your clients. That's only really one level of dealing with money. Money is there in every aspect of life. And that's really what I wanted to bring out today and set it up so that you as a coach can start to have those conversations with your client. If you want to then refer the client to a financial advisor to deal with the investments, to take that further, that's fine. But there's no reason why you can't be empowered to start to have a money conversation with your clients, because I think you're going to be, if you're at the first, level of their support team that are helping them make decisions, this is really, it's foundational and not something to be ignored.
Thank you, Hugh. The results have been, or the feedback was great. I did want to just let everyone know that there will be a short survey sent out right after we finish this webinar. We really listened to the feedback. So, please feel free to weigh in on sort of anything that you may need, and we'll do a follow-up with you as well. And Hugh, thank you. It was great wisdom that you shared with us today.
No, that's a pleasure. And we know there's a lot there. So that's, that's good feedback, for us to have. But I think if we just take away the simple message that all of you can have the talent insights and the money insights side by side and learn to use them to do better discovery with your clients and get them to a place of happiness, success, and health. That's really our desire.
Very good. Thank you, Hugh, for the time today, and thank you all for attending today. And you will get the recording probably tomorrow morning with the notes. So we appreciate it so much. Thank you.